Hari Om Tat Sat. Welcome to Swami Jyotirmayananda Society, our journey to self realization. Please subscribe our channel for the mystical meanings and to enjoy daily satsang with us. We are currently exploring the book Yoga Essays for Self Improvement, authored by Swami Jyotirmayananda Maharaj, narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. In today's satsang, we will discuss how to be religious in the true sense. All religions declare that a human being is essentially divine but has somehow become separated from God and exists to wend his steps back to God. Moving back to God is religion, which is to connect. Religare, it is the word. Root is, I think, a Latin root of religion, religare, which is to connect back to God. He must reunite himself with God in order to terminate all his miseries. The Upanishads, the source of all the many systems of yoga and Vedanta, declare that a person is not only related to God but is essentially the divine self. This subtle mystic truth, the divinity of the human spirit, a fact that is taught in a diffused manner by all religions of the world, shines forth like the sun in a cloudless sky in the teachings of the Upanishads. Yoga too means union, implying a union of the individual soul with God when limitations imposed by mental illusions are removed. All religions agree that that there is a human spirit, consciousness. We all believe that. Many religions, most religions believe that. They also agree that a human being, a mere product of dust, is an insignificant creature from a physical point of view. Yet his inner spirit has the possibility of enfolding the heavens and earth by its expansive arms of devotion and wisdom. The human spirit can enjoy fellowship, communion, and even absolute identification with the divine self, who is the omnipotent, omniscient, and the all pervading reality. Although different religious systems contain various materials that differ at the level of rituals, legends, and myths, and although they observe different religious vows and disciplines, they all aim at leading mankind to its essential divine nature. A truly religious person seeks the profundity of the religion in which he was born. He discovers a universal insight into all religions of the world. He performs his own religious disciplines but admires and appreciates the varied disciplines presented in other religions of the world. He practices his own way of worship and prayer in order to understand how God can be worshipped and adored in various ways. He advances on the path of mental purification, devotion, and spiritual wisdom until he outgrows the apparent limitations that initially presented barriers between his religion and others. Every religion presents certain dogmas to protect its devotees from various distractions caused by different teachings. However, these are means to an end and not an end in themselves. Therefore, they too are outgrown. If one were to remain confined to his own religious beliefs and dogmas and compute religion with blind adherence to them, he would be making a serious mistake. For a person who is devoid of these external marks of religion may often be more religious in a true sense. True religion is universal. It is the mystic science of life. It is not a matter of one's choosing whether he should accept religion or remain irreligious. If he would live a life of happiness, peace, and joyousness, he is bound to follow the eternal laws of the true religion of his heart. Even those who believe they have nothing to do with religion are unknowingly conditioned by the laws of universal religion. They seek happiness, and happiness, in the true sense, is God. They seek to be fulfilled through love, and God is the very embodiment of absolute love. They seek peace, and God is the ocean of peace. Nature waits patiently, providing infinite variations of material objects, circumstances, and conditions so that one day the spirit in man will turn towards the reality of the divine self and stop its involvements with the shadows of illusion. All the being, all of us are being led Godwards positively or negatively. No one can keep himself separated from the divine source forever because these are universal laws. They are they are applicable universally. It doesn't matter whether we believe in them or not. We are bound by them. Obstacles to the practice of religion. External forms of religion are means to an end. If a person becomes attached to his external practice and begins to condemn others for adopting a different one, he is acting against the spirit of true religion. Instead of pleasing God within himself, he is adoring the devil of ignorance. He may become a religious scholar, he may quote scriptures, but he continues to be an embittered personality, harboring impressions deep within his heart of hatred, bitterness, jealousy, pride, and vanity. The most severe obstacle to the practice of true religion is the idea that God is far apart from this world. Rather, the world is a divine plan through which the spirit of man discovers his essential nature. The varying conditions and circumstances, the experiences of pleasure and pain, the burden of practical realities and responsibilities, all these cannot be cast aside as mere superfluous developments in life. A man turning to God does not need to discard these with a sense of vehemence. He does not need to turn to a life confined in a remote cave or behind the walls of a monastery or in an isolated spot untouched by the so called evils of the world. Instead of turning away from the world of practical realities, he must learn to harmonize himself with them. Instead of seeking isolation from the world on the basis of ignorance, he should seek the divine self underlying all things of the world. That is true religion. In order to save oneself from the buffeting waves of distractions and temptations that the ocean of the world provides, one need not run away from one wave or another, or that is simply escapism. This is not the answer. An isolated life is nothing but poised confusion. What one needs is to dive deeper into life, no matter where he is positioned, and to discover his union with the profundities of the ocean, which are unaffected by the restless waves. The art of religious movement lies in harmonizing oneself with the divinity underlying the world process. Yoga presents four important aspects in this movement, which is the path of integral yoga, path of service or karma yoga, path of love and devotion or bhakti yoga, path of meditation or raja yoga, and the path of enlightenment or jnana yoga. A religious movement must bring an integrated development in the human personality. A truly harmonized person is closer to God and works without feeling the pressure of egoistic expectations. He works with a spirit of surrender to God which is Sharanagati in Hindi, total surrender, and transforms his actions into a process of divine worship. He serves the divine self, abiding in all by serving others. In all his activities, he seeks to become an unobstructed channel for the workings of the divine will. He becomes a flute in the hands of divine Krishna as the world is converted into Vrindavan, the divine garden where the Lord sings the song of bliss. The idea that a religious person should turn away from all activities and live only for the liberation of his own soul is founded on ignorance. Inward spiritual advancement is impossible through a mind laden with impressions of inertia and dullness. A person who flows outwardly by serving God in creation is more internalized with regards to the divine in him than a person who withdraws from the world and takes recourse to long hours of apparent meditation and prayer. For such a person is, in fact, more externalized with relation to God in him due to the overpowering presence of inertia in his mind. With this, we conclude this satsang for today, and we will cover the remaining portion of this wonderful chapter, which is so profound, in tomorrow's satsang. This is Swami Nikhilananda. Hari Om Tat Sat.